Let's learn how I quit smoking using NLP, which is one of the most powerful sciences in the world. Hi, my name is Mitesh Khatri. I'm a law of attraction coach and a national best-selling author of the book, The Law of Attraction. Today, we are talking about how I personally quit smoking and how you can probably help a lot of other people who might be stuck with similar bad habits like smoking, like drinking. All of these habits are addictions, correct? Now, these addictions can be quit in a very fast manner if you use a scientific technique from NLP. Let's understand what is NLP. Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It was founded by two powerful people in the world, Richard Bandler and John Grinder. And NLP teaches us that it doesn't have to be the hard way. What do I mean by that? A lot of people believe that the only way to excel at something is to work 10,000 hours. In fact, there's a book called 10,000 Hours, which means if you really want to be a genius at something, if you want to be an expert at something, you have to do the same task 10,000 times and then you get good at it. Similarly, people have a limiting belief that if you have to break a bad habit, it takes many months, sometimes many years. That's why you'll observe a lot of people who are going through smoking addiction, alcohol addiction, a lot of bad habits. They go through even rehabilitation, and in spite of that, many times they are not able to break their habits. Why? Because a lot of them are using old traditional style of counseling, psychology, or self-help techniques to quit bad habits or to create new habits. Whereas NLP is the cutting-edge science which teaches us that you can quit these bad habits in a very little amount of time by using some of the NLP techniques. Let's understand the foundation of it. NLP means neurons. Neurons means what our brain is made of. Your entire brain is made of more than 86 billion neurons, right? 86 billion neurons. Now, these neurons, when they connect with each other, it creates a neuroconnection. And these are the neuroconnections which are called as thoughts in our mind, messages in our mind, feelings in our mind, beliefs in our mind, and even patterns or habits. So if you really want to break habits, what you have to do is you have to take these neurons and the connection which is there, you have to break the connection. If you break the connection, those habits which could take many months to break can actually be broken in a very small amount of time. In my own case, I was able to quit smoking by just doing a 1-hour practice of NLP when I learned it for the first time many years ago. Here is what I did. Would you like to learn? Take a notepad and a pen and write it down because I'm giving you the exact steps that I practiced after learning NLP. Step number 1, make a decision that you really want to do it. What do I really mean by that? The quality of your decisions creates the quality of your life. Because if you've not decided to do something, here is what happens. In your mind, you're like, okay, let me do it today, let me do it tomorrow. People who've not been able to quit any bad habit have not yet decided that they want to do it or they don't want to do it. Example, somebody who wants to quit smoking is constantly thinking, should I not? So they keep having this indecisive moment. People who want to diet, but they're not able to quit overeating is because they sit in front of that thali or in front of that food that they want to eat and they're constantly overthinking. Aaj ke din kha loon. Maybe I should start from tomorrow. So you see, this maybe is indecisiveness. Indecisiveness cannot help you quit bad habits. First step, make a decision that I am going to quit this bad habit. Now, in order to do that, to create new neurological connections in your brain, there are two kinds of decisions in life. One is called a should decision. One is called a must decision. What is the difference? A should is when we say, kiya to theek hai, nahi kiya to bhi theek hai. It's okay if I do it. It's okay if I don't do it. That's a should. Example, right now, let's say I should have water. Now, it's a should. But the moment you say I must, that's when the neuroconnections really work very fast with each other. The moment you say something is a must for you, you make things happen. Simple example. If you say you should arrange 10 lakh rupees by tomorrow morning to invest in a business, is this a should decision or a must decision? Should. So you may give excuses about why you're not able to arrange that money by tomorrow morning. But the moment environmental situation happens or conditional situation happens, and God forbid, if your son has to go through some medical treatment or your family member has to go through some medical treatment and you need to arrange 10 lakh rupees by tomorrow morning. Now, will you find a way to arrange that money tomorrow morning if it's a life and death situation? You will, right? Why? Because suddenly now in this situation, the action that you need to take is no more a should. What is it? It's a must. So step 1 is write down on a notepad, what are the 10 must reasons why do you want to quit? I'll give you my example. What made it a must for me conditionally was in those days, I was enjoying my life smoking, like I had no problem. But then I met my beautiful wife, Indu, who's my wife today, but then she was just my girlfriend. Now, when I met Indu and when I got into a relationship with her, in any new relationship, especially when you're dating, there's a lot of physical chemistry. You get close to each other, you hug a lot, you kiss a lot. And at that time, every time I got close to Indu, she would move back. Why? Because I was always stinking of smoke. I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day. That's almost being a chain smoker. That's like every 5 minutes I was smoking. Think about it. That was a lot of cigarettes. So any moment I got close to Indu, she used to step back. So I had to go brush my teeth, use a mouth freshener. Then I would come back and hug her or be close to her. Even sitting next to her was difficult if I was smoking. This became a must reason for me to quit smoking, at least for me. So I decided I want to quit smoking because I want to have a relationship with Indu. I'm not going to stay away from her just because of this bad smoking habit and the bad smell that troubles her. Step number 2, make it painful with the idea of smoking. Now, what do you mean by that? Anything that is painful for our mind, we always move away from that. But again, there are 2 levels of pain: tolerable pain and intolerable pain. If you have tolerable pain, do you know that human beings are capable of staying in a tolerable pain situation for a lifetime? That is why there are many people who stay in slums for many, many years. They don't go out of it because they've not become, that pain levels have not become intolerable for them where they say, that's it, I can't tolerate it anymore. Until that moment comes, we don't shift out of a bad habit. Think about it. You must have also changed some of your habits in the past. When you did, it was because you made a decision at one point when the pain became so strong and you said, that's it, ab mujhse nahi tolerate hota, I'm done with this bad habit and I'm going to change now. Whenever you said that, you changed. The reason you're enjoying the habit right now, because it's not painful right now. It's pleasure. Like in those days for me, smoking was pleasure. Now, because smoking was pleasure for me, do you think I was going to quit it? No. Logically, I knew it was not good for me. But emotionally, physically, I felt good every time I smoked. Now I had to make it painful. Now in NLP we say, create, don't look for it. What do we mean by that? Intolerable, something which is very, very painful. Second, imaginary, no problem. It doesn't even have to be real. It can be imaginary. But it has to be extreme pain. It has to be so much that in this moment, even the idea of smoking becomes dangerous for you. I'll give you an example of what I did with myself many years ago. And after that, believe it or not, I have helped hundreds of people quit smoking when I did one-on-one coaching for them. Sometimes even alcohol, I was able to help people quit. I was even able to help a lot of people quit drugs because of this habit. Now, if you really want to learn how I did that and you want to learn the entire science of NLP, I'm giving you the lesson number 1 of NLP, which is a masterclass on NLP, completely free. This is a gift worth rupees 10,000. You'll find the link in the description below. Click on it, register, come for the masterclass, and you'll learn why NLP is so powerful. But let's come to the point of how did I create painful reasons for myself. Now, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound disgusting, painful, even to hear it. But that's the idea, right? So here is what I did. I would sit at one place. I would take a cigarette in my hands. And I would consciously imagine that that cigarette is dipped into the toilet and I was smoking it. Now, the moment even now, the idea of doing that is crazy. Like it gives me goosebumps because it's disgusting, right? How many of you right now, while you were listening to this, you said, yo, you did that, right? Every time I think of smoking, this is the expression that has to come on my face, like, ew. And my mind has to say, no, it has to be almost pukish. But if my mind says, I know cigarette is bad for me. You see, that cigarette is now going to come from here to here very easily. Why? There is pleasure. We need to make it painful. So I sat at one place and for about 5 to 10 minutes, imagine this, 5 to 10 minutes, I kept doing this. Closed my eyes, got my cigarette close to my mouth, and I imagined that the bud of that cigarette was dipped into the commode and I was smoking it. Then to make it more painful, I even thought that there was a maid who had given that cigarette to me from my house. She had gone to the toilet and she didn't wash her hands, and that's the hand that she gave me the cigarette with. Just the thought of this made me felt so bad. I'm like, no. And my brain just kept the cigarette down. Now, after I kept the cigarette down, I picked it up again. And again, I thought something more disgusting and I again felt it. My brain is creating new neurological connections with that cigarette. Like cigarette is one neuron, and now I'm creating new neurological connections with that cigarette where it's toilet and it's ganda smell and it's electric shocks and it's that maid who's not washed her hands and all of that. And every time I'm making it disgusting, painful. And what's happening because of this? When I keep that cigarette now, like right now, I don't feel like smoking. After 1 hour, when I felt like smoking again, what did I do? Same thing again. Now, obviously, this sounds simple when I'm saying it to you, but when I did it with myself, the reason I was able to do it properly, because I know the entire science of NLP and how these techniques work. Then I did step number 3. The step number 3 is create immense pleasure for moving away from cigarettes. Here's what I'm trying to say. When we move away from a bad habit, normally we don't like to move away from it because moving away is painful. Like in those days, whenever I tried to quit cigarettes, my mind used to be like, "Arey yaar, I'll miss something. I'll miss that feeling of what I feel pleasure when after food I'm having that cigarette, that relaxation, I will miss it." So you see, leaving a cigarette was a missing factor. It was a factor of I'm missing out something in life. It's becoming more painful for me. Then I will not quit. I need to make it more pleasure every time I'm moving away from cigarettes. Again, in NLP, we say, don't look for those pleasure reasons, create pleasure reasons. How? Imaginary. Be creative. Create imaginary pleasure reasons and feel them. Don't just think about them. Don't just write them. Feel them, rehearse them like an actor. So here's what I did. I would take a cigarette and then I would keep that cigarette away. And the moment I kept it away, I would smile and I would imagine that I'm giving a hug to Indu and I'm kissing her and she's very happy with me and she's saying, "I love you." Again, I would pick up the cigarette. Now this time you have to do both the steps. Pain and pleasure both. That's how you're actually supposed to do it. So I would take the cigarette and immediately I would remember the cigarette is dipped in what? Toilet, shit, smell, remember? And then I'll keep the cigarette immediately away. Immediately what am I imagining? I'm imagining I'm giving a hug to my girlfriend. She's very happy with me and she's saying, "I love you," and she's looking in my eyes. Those days, I was just working to be a coach, which means I had not yet successfully become a trainer yet. So here's what I did. I would keep my cigarette away and I would quickly imagine that I'm training 10,000 people in front of me just because I kept that cigarette away. The moment I imagine 10,000 people sitting in front of me, for you, this must be not a great thing. But for me, being a trainer, that being my vision, my goal, it's like a huge thing for me. Another example was every time I kept my cigarette away, I would immediately imagine that I've become a national best-selling author of my book. In those days, I had not even written a book, by the way, but I wanted to become a national best-selling author. So I would close my eyes and quickly imagine that because I kept the cigarette away, I became a national best-selling author. Today, believe it or not, my book, Law of Attraction, has become a national best-selling author, a national best-selling book, because I imagined it so many times. And the best part was I imagined it every time I left that cigarette away. So to summarize all these steps now, step number 1, decision. Make that decision. Write down 10 creative must reasons. Next step is create painful reasons. Don't look for it. You won't find any. Create disgusting, intolerable, extreme painful reasons. Third, immediately after you keep it away, give yourself pleasure. So not just keeping it away, but the moment you keep it away because of the pain, immediately allow yourself to experience extreme, imaginary, but at the same time, amazing levels of pleasure that you did a great thing by keeping that cigarette away and you're very successful because of that. This is how I quit smoking. Once again, I know this seems oversimplified. It did take me some amount of learning and understanding and implementation. You can also do this. Once you learn NLP, not just quitting smoking kind of habits, you can do so many powerful things you can't imagine. Would you like to know what more you can achieve and how you can control your brain using NLP and how you can become a master at law of attraction? Because what is law of attraction? Being able to control our feelings, our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. NLP is the superpower that gives us the ability to control our FTBA, feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Make sense? So click on the link. I'll see you in the masterclass and we'll discuss more in detail how we can help you achieve your goals with NLP. Thank you very much for watching. And if you think this video can help some of your friends quit their bad habits, please share this video right now with minimum 3 of your friends. And hey, if you liked what you're listening today, give it a quick thumbs up. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And after that, when you see that bell icon, hit it, because only then you'll get an intimation and an email when my next video comes in. See you soon. And if you want me to create specific videos on any particular topics, put it in the comment section. I would love to know what your questions are, and I'll try to make topics on your points and your questions. About today's videos, what do you feel? Are you going to quit some bad habits? Are you going to try this? If yes, tell me in the comment section. I promise to read it and comment soon. Take care. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.